Greetings to one and all. This is G. Pushpa Antoinette Shiva, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Auxilium College, Katpadi, Vellore, discussing with you all on Introduction to Spatial Data Mining. First, to start with the discussion, let's be very clear about the definition. What is all about spatial data mining? It is a process of discovering some interesting, useful, non trivial patterns from large data sets, from big data sets, from voluminous data sets. Let's see some examples, real time examples, some historic examples, modern examples for spatial patterns. Talking about historic examples, I have listed out a few, like Asiatic cholera, which happened in London, fluoride and healthy gums near Colorado River, theory of Gondwanland continents fits like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. These are some of the historic examples of spatial patterns. Modern examples, cancer clusters, prime hotspot detections, bald edges nest on tall trees near open waters, Nile virus spreading, unusual warming of specific ocean, like which we usually call it as El Nino effects in the weather. All these are some of the real-time examples of spatial pattern. Why we should learn about spatial data mining? There are two major reasons. First one, consideration of use in certain application domains. It provides fundamental and new understanding in the process of handling the big data. Application domains, I have listed few for you. Scale up secondary spatial analysis to very large data sets. The examples are how to describe and explain locations of human settlements in last 5,000 years, to find cancer clusters to locate hazardous environments, to prepare land use maps from satellite images, how to predict habitat suitable for endangered species, and finding new spatial patterns. The real time examples for this is to find the group of co-located geographic features. These are all the reasons which gives us some answers why should we learn spatial data mining. Then, continuing with the same question, we get new understanding of geographic process for critical questions. For example, how is the health of a Mother Earth planet? Characterizing the effects of human activity on environment and ecology, predicting the effect of El Nino, and so on. Traditional approaches manually generate and test the hypothesis, but spatial data is growing too fast in an exponential rate. For example, satellite images, GPS tracking, sensors and highways, etc. There are a number of possible geographic hypotheses which is too large to explore manually. For example, large number of geographical features and locations, number of interactive subsets of features which grow exponentially, to find the telecommunications between weather events across oceans, across continents, etc. SDM, that is spatial data mining, may reduce a set of plausible hypotheses. It is very useful and it supports by the data analysis with a reduced hypothesis activities for further exploration using traditional statistical methods. Now let's discuss about a phrase called autocorrelation. Items in a traditional data are independent of each other, whereas properties of locations in a map are often autocorrelated only. They are dependent only. What is the first law of geography states? And this law of geography was stated by Waldo Tobler. Everything is related to everything, but nearby things are more related than distant things. People with similar backgrounds tend to live in the same area. Economics of nearby regions tend to be similar. Changes in temperature occur gradually over space. This is all about first law of geography, and this is closely related to autocorrelation. Now, the next topic for our discussion is characteristics of spatial data mining. Let me list down few important characteristics of spatial data mining. Say autocorrelation, finding the patterns, longitude and latitude positions plays an important role in collecting the data. People are used to map these days, and mapping is all about data mining and spatial data mining, nothing else. Patterns are not only identifying the points, but also it refers to lines, polygons, geometrical objects, etc. Large continuous space which is defined by spatial attributes. Regional knowledge is of particular importance due to lack of global knowledge. Why regional knowledge is important in spatial data mining? A special challenge in spatial data mining is that information is usually not uniformly distributed. I underline information is not uniformly distributed in spatial data sets. It has been pointed out in the literature that whole map statistics are seldom useful, that most relationships in spatial data sets are geographically regional rather than global, that there is no average place on Earth's surface. Therefore, it is not surprising that domain experts are mostly interested in discovering hidden patterns at a regional scale rather than a global scale. Spatial autocorrelation, distance-based measure, like I would like to talk about an important function which is called as k-function definition. It's a test against randomness, k of h, which is equal to lambda power minus 1 of e. And what is this right hand side variables are about? That is nothing but number of events within the distance h of an arbitrary event. Lambda is an intensity of the event. Model departure from randomness in a wide range of scales. Let's also talk about and bring in the concept of inference. For Poisson complete spatial randomness, CSR, that is k of h, which is equal to pi h square. We all know that. And this is used in plotting the GOT of h against h and to compare it with Poisson CSR, cluster and declustering, regularizing, deregularizing, all these are parts of spatial data mining. And here I have put up an example graph for you. If you take the x-axis, you have the distance. And if you take the y-axis, you have the k function. And both are correlated with each other. And like you see the blue dots, red dots, and red continuous lines, and the green X marks, like each denotes and depicts each distribution, different distribution that you can see in the graph. And I have also given you a diagram which is helping us to find the sample patterns, associations, spatial associations, co-locations, etc. You have birds and trees and animals and owls, how to find a pattern in a forest environment and how to find the co-location pattern from the sample data given. And I've also given a graph and a distribution for co-location rules. Co-location of patterns and the main pattern identification from the sample data cannot be done without the spatial rules. Spatial rules are also applicable for the co-location rules. Cross correlation. So we discussed about correlation. Now let us also discuss about cross correlation. We are using a function called k function, kij of h, which is equal to lambda to the power of minus 1 suffix j into e. And this RHS, what is the expansion for that? Number of type j event within the distance h of a randomly chosen type I event. This cross-k function of some pair of spatial features types, for example, which pair are frequently co-located and statistically significant pairs can be identified with the help of this cross-correlation k function definition. Illustration of cross-correlation. Illustration of cross-k function, for example, if you take the x-axis, the distance is given. If you take the y-axis, the cross-k function is given. And these two are cross-correlated with the help of k function of pairs for spatial features. The features can be the trees in the forest, the houses in the forest, the bird houses in the forest, the birds in the forest, the bushes in the forest, and it goes on and on to correlate among these and to find the patterns in the forest. Next, we will discuss about the spatial association rules. A special reference for spatial feature. These association rules are what is the item types, and each predicate will refer an item type. That is what, say for example, this height of a stem, it is related or correlated with the distance to the edge. Say for example, vegetation durability is related to the distance to the water, where the river is, where the water source is. That is always related to the vegetarian durability. The distance to water and what is the depth of the water, all these things decides the stem height of a plant. These are nothing but talking about a real-time spatial association rule. Now, after talking all these things, I would like to conclude my discussion on spatial data mining. Spatial patterns are opposite of random. Common spatial patterns like location prediction, feature interaction, hotspot predictions, geographical reference prediction, so many things are there. Unexpected, interesting patterns in large spatial database can be done. Spatial patterns may be discovered using many techniques: classification techniques, association techniques, clustering techniques, outlier deductions, inlier deduction, and so on. New techniques are also supporting this SDM, spatial data mining, like spatial autocorrelation, non-point data types, continuity in the space knowledge, regional knowledge, separation between the spatial and non-spatial substance, which is not possible in the traditional approaches. All these are possible nowadays with the help of the new technology, new techniques, new algorithms. Knowledge sources are plenty. It is voluminous. It is available in the internet. How to analyze, how to streamline the big data with the help of spatial data mining. The raw knowledge to perform spatial data mining is mostly available in the web now, and it is related to any real-time example which we are interested to deal with. And this tools are available that facilitate integrating knowledge from different sources. So, this is where we conclude the entire discussion about spatial data mining. Thank you.